9:22 AM ETIn a backward way. Whether Roy Williams will admit it or not, the 3.5-year investigation into bogus classes offered to North Carolina student-athletes helped produce the championship banner that went into the rafters of the Dean Smith Center on Friday night, the same day that the NCAA essentially cleared the program of any and all punishment related to said investigation. Now Williams has a decision to make. Does he toss his hat back into the ring and battle John Calipari and Mike Krzyzewski for the top kids in the country, or will he have learned a valuable lesson from the past 2 seasons when a bunch of less talented, more invested players were one Chris Jenkins bucket away from winning a pair of national championships? Let's not forget that Williams also won national titles with star-studded rosters in 2005 and 2009, and back then, his work ethic combined with the North Carolina brand and the allure of Michael Jordan made the Tar Heels more intimidated than any program in the country. With back-to-back Final Four appearances and a national championship in the past 2 seasons, Roy Williams has to decide whether he should go for the top recruits again or stick to what's worked. Tom Pennington, Getty Images. A decade ago, Williams' presence at a recruits game forced opposing coaches to look at other options. "We never beat North Carolina for a kid," former UConn coach and Basketball Hall of Famer Jim Calhoun told ESPN. "For the majority of my career, that was the program that was the most powerful. Obviously, it changed in the last 7 or 8 years, but Roy was as feared as anyone when it came to recruiting." Williams lured top 10 recruit Marvin Williams across the country in 2004, grabbed another, Tyler Hansbrough, from Missouri in 2005, then put together a star-studded class in 2006 that included a trio of top 10 guys: Brandon Wright, Ty Lawson, and Wayne Ellington. Those guys might not have lived up to the hype, but at the time it considered the best class in the country, even though Ohio State's Thad Matta had reeled in Greg Oden, Mike Conley Jr., Daquan Cook, and David Letty. 4 years later, Williams beat Coach K to reel in the #1 overall player, Harrison Barnes. However, over the past few years, while coaching staffs have obliterated North Carolina with negative recruiting and chatter of a looming postseason ban, teams such as Duke and Kentucky have dominated the one-and-done game. The Tar Heels have been left to take the next-level players, the ones who generally lack the pro potential to leave after just 1 season. While one-and-one-built teams like Kentucky and Duke sat at home, Williams took 3 seniors and 3 juniors to the Final Four last year in Arizona. But according to colleagues, Williams won't turn a blind eye to kick-turn guys such as Tony Bradley, ESPN number 17, who was the one-and-done exception on last year's roster. Coaches are attracted to talent, one former Hymahor coach who has plenty of experience with recruiting one-and-done said of Williams. He is not going to be able to say no to the best players. As much as he might want to stick to the formula that's worked for him, he won't be able to do it. Calhoun added his assessment. "Coaches aren't going to turn those guys away," Calhoun said. "And there's no reason to think Roy can't get back involved with them now." North Carolina went its way, returning to a world where an NCAA cloud no longer hung over its head. But despite escaping without sanctions, there was a cost. The Graham from getting by on holes in bylaws won't clean off easily. 10 years have passed since Jason Ray entered our lives in an unexpected and tragic way. But his story and his decision to become an organ and tissue donor lives on. Former Duke standout Brandon Ingram admitted he didn't go to North Carolina because of the uncertainty surrounding the investigation. And the Tar Heels had no shot at prying guys such as Harry Giles and Marvin Bagley Jr. away from Duke, or De'Aaron Fox and Malik Monk away from Kentucky. But the Tar Heels were fortunate to land high-level talent they could develop. Joel Berry too was considered a winner from the beginning, but no one thought had become arguably the best point guard in America. Justin Jackson was intriguing, but he was too unathletic to become a focal offensive player for a team capable of going deep into the tournament. Isaiah Hicks' motor was in question, and so too was Kennedy Meek's weight. Nate Britt was a non-shooter, and Theo Pinson looked the part, but there were questions about whether he could also make enough shots. C.B. McGrath said that Williams won't change his recruiting strategy, and McGrath would know better than just about anyone. McGrath was on Williams' staffs for 18 seasons, before getting the head job at UNC Wilmington in April. McGrath and assistant Steve Robinson were Williams' primary recruiters over the past few years, while the Tar Heels dealt with the cloud hanging over the program. "We still tried to get the one-and-done guys," McGrath said. "But now Coach might have a better chance to get those players. The NCAA investigation won't hurt him anymore." Williams already landed Nasser Little, a top 20 player, earlier this month, but seemingly the only reason why is that Little was connected to the recent FBI investigation, and the Tar Heels were the last school standing, after Arizona and Miami, also connected, were eliminated. With the banner raised, a clean slate and a lack of big-name players in the program, North Carolina should re-enter the fray and continue to fight coaches K and Cal in the one-and-done game.